25-year-old Raja Jackson was arrested and charged with felony battery this morning and put on a $50,000 bail in Los Angeles.
Raja Jackson has just been handed his sentence, and it's worse than anyone expected. After brutally hitting a veteran wrestler on live stream, the son of UFC legend Rampage Jackson now faces consequences that might destroy his fighting career forever. But what exactly did the court decide, and what happens next for him? Let's break it down. The incident that shattered everything. In the unforgiving world of combat sports, where legends are born and careers can be destroyed in an instant, few incidents have shocked the fighting community quite like what unfolded on that fateful evening of August 24, 2025. The name Raja Jackson, once whispered with promise as the son of UFC Hall of Famer Quinton Rampage Jackson, would forever be etched in infamy after a single night that transformed a scripted wrestling segment into a near-fatal assault that left the combat sports world reeling. The assault on Stuart "Psycho Stu" Smith by Raja Jackson on August 24, 2025, at the KnockX Pro Wrestling Academy in Sun Valley, Los Angeles, exemplifies the perilous intersection of scripted entertainment and unfiltered aggression in the era of live streaming. What began as a harmless promotional appearance for the 25-year-old aspiring MMA fighter quickly devolved into a brutal beatdown that would leave his victim hospitalized, his own future in ruins, and the entire indie wrestling world questioning its safety protocols. To understand the magnitude of this tragedy, we must first understand the players involved. Stuart "Psycho Stu" Smith wasn't just another wrestler looking for his 15 minutes of fame. This was a 32-year-old independent professional wrestler and U.S. Army veteran, known for his high-energy performances in promotions like KnockX Pro Wrestling Academy. Smith had served his country with honor, serving as an Army sergeant from 2008 to 2014, with deployments to Iraq. When he returned home, wrestling became more than just entertainment. It was therapy, a way to channel the demons of PTSD into something constructive and meaningful. The emotional weight of this reality becomes clear when we understand what wrestling meant to veterans like Smith.
Psycho Stu happens to be a veteran, and he uses wrestling as a way to deal with his PTSD, because people who go to fight on the battlefield, they go through a lot.
On the other side stood Raja Jackson, a young man carrying the enormous weight of his father's legendary name. Born on May 2, 2000, Raja emerged as an aspiring mixed martial artist deeply influenced by his father's legendary career. But unlike his father, who had carved out his own path to greatness, Raja found himself forever in the shadow of Rampage Jackson's legacy, struggling to establish his own identity in a sport that constantly reminded him of what his father had achieved. The pressure of living up to his father's explosive reputation was evident even in his online presence. As one analysis of their relationship dynamics observed,
"Hell no, I don't got no bread, bro. My dad got bread. That's his bread. That's not mine. That's why I want to get on brand rich."
Every time he walks in somewhere, his dad is bigger than him. No matter what he accomplishes, his dad. It's just like when you're going out with a star.
Raja had been building his reputation both as a fighter with a 4-0 amateur record and as a content creator on Kick, where he had amassed over 15,000 followers. But success in the streaming world came with its own pressures. The chat comments, the constant need for content, and the expectation to live up to his father's explosive personality created a toxic cocktail of insecurity and aggression that would ultimately prove devastating. The evening of August 24th was supposed to be routine. KnockX Pro Wrestling Academy's monthly Sun Valley Slam event was a grassroots promotion drawing 150-200 attendees for family-friendly wrestling and local talent showcases. Raja Jackson, invited as a special guest via his budding Kick influencer status, was slotted for a 5-minute promo-to-bump sequence with Smith. What the organizers didn't know was that Raja had arrived with a personal agenda that would turn their family-friendly entertainment into a nightmare. The tension began building even before the cameras started rolling. In the backstage area, what should have been harmless banter between performers took a dark turn. The incident that would spark everything was captured on Raja's own livestream, showing the moment when Smith hit him with what appeared to be a beer can during what was supposed to be a scripted segment. The immediate aftermath of this confrontation was telling, as Raja's father would later explain.
"I'm just as mad at him because Raja lied to me, because I was live streaming when he got hit over the head with the can, and I called him. I was like, "Son, what's going on? Like, what you doing?" And he didn't tell me nothing about them working him into a match so he can get his revenge, so he can get his payback. Because he know I would have told him take his ass home, because the day before he just almost got knocked out in the gym.
Whether this was intentional or accidental remains disputed, but for Raja, feeling humiliated in front of his live stream audience, it became the spark that would ignite a devastating explosion of violence. The psychological impact of this moment cannot be understated. Here was a young man already struggling with his identity, already feeling disrespected by the world, and now he felt publicly humiliated on his own platform. But what happened next revealed the deeper psychological wounds that had been festering. As observers would later note about Raja's state of mind,
Man, I'm pissed. They should come at me. They're trying me. Watch this. What?
Real one of them bit me. I'm tired of everybody playing with me. Think I'm always playing and call me shit. None of bro. At the end of the day, I'ma stand up for myself because I'm tired of everybody playing with me, bro. Real.
The sequence began at approximately 9:45 p.m. PDT, as captured in the unedited Kick VOD and corroborated by venue security cams. Smith, in full ring gear, a black and red singlet emblazoned with Army Strong nods to his veteran status, entered to his entrance theme amid cheers, mic in hand for the scripted segment. Jackson followed shortly after, eschewing wrestling attire for street clothes, a red flag overlooked in the chaos of the live event. The promo kicked off with standard back-and-forth banter, but tensions peaked when Jackson dropped the mic and extended a hand for what appeared to be a reconciliation spot. Eyewitness Douglas Doug Mallow, a KnockX referee and Smith's tag partner that night, later testified that Stu shook his hand clean, said, "We're good, brother," off mic. Crowd popped huge. Then boom, Raja yanked his hair like a spike driver. The pivot to violence was instantaneous and premeditated. At 9 hours, 48 minutes, and 45 seconds, Jackson muttered into the live feed, "It's always been my dream to fuck up a pro wrestler," a chilling foreshadow audible only in post-incident audio enhancements. He then gripped Smith's hair with his left hand, whipping his head downward in a double-leg takedown variant, slamming Smith's face into the mat at an estimated 15 to 20 miles per hour impact velocity. What followed was a sustained assault that shocked even hardened combat sports fans. The footage, broken down frame by analysts, revealed the true horror of what transpired.
Watch this. He throws him down. Buddha goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He falls at 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 70 people are holding him back. It's like I have 22 more, 21, 22. Bro, come on, man. Where is the humanity in you? And this guy, if after he was held back, he felt like he needed to do more. He was so pumped up. He was like, they keep fucking with me. Watch his reaction after he had just blown somebody's brains out. That is Raja Jackson.
The crown of Smith's skull struck first, rendering him unconscious in under 0.5 seconds, confirmed by slowed footage showing immediate flaccid collapse, eyes rolling back, and blood pooling from a split lip. Jackson, undeterred, transitioned seamlessly into mount position, raining down 18 closed fist strikes to Smith's unprotected face and temple over the next 22 seconds. The intervention came from multiple wrestlers and referees, but not before the damage was done. Mallow dove in, wrapping his arms around Jackson's waist in a bear hug to pull him off, shouting, "Enough, man, it's over!" But Jackson shrugged him away with a hip escape, landing 2 more punches. The scene was chaos. A family-friendly wrestling event had turned into something resembling a street fight, with children in the audience witnessing violence that would leave lasting psychological scars. Smith remained prone for 4 minutes, 32 seconds, EMTs from on-site standby stabilizing his neck with a C-collar before stretcher evacuation. The crowd footage from attendee iPhones shows pandemonium, screams, parents shielding their children's eyes, and wrestlers rushing the ring to form a prayer circle around the motionless Smith. As one eyewitness later described the horror of watching Raja's demeanor during and after the assault.
That is Raja Jackson. And then even his dad was like, "Woo." Even his dad, when his dad watched it, he was like, "Woo. They are gonna ban my son." The guy was on the phone talking to people like, "Man, I'm pissed. They should come at me. They're trying me."
This wasn't just a wrestling match gone wrong. This was a complete breakdown of the boundaries between entertainment and reality, between controlled violence and uncontrolled rage. In 47 seconds, Raja Jackson had not only potentially ended another man's career, but had also destroyed his own future in the process. The dream to fuck up a pro wrestler had become a nightmare that would haunt everyone involved for years to come. The aftermath and family reckoning. The immediate aftermath of the August 24th assault would prove almost as devastating as the incident itself, as the combat sports world grappled with the reality of what they had witnessed, while a family was torn apart by the actions of one of their own. Within hours of Raja Jackson's brutal attack on Stuart "Psycho Stu" Smith, the wrestling and MMA communities erupted in a firestorm of outrage that would reshape how both industries approach safety and accountability. Stuart "Psycho Stu" Smith arrived at Providence Holy Cross Medical Center in Mission Hills via ambulance around 10:45 p.m. that night, intubated and unresponsive due to the severity of the blunt force trauma sustained from over 20 unanswered punches to the head and face while prone on the mat. The medical assessment painted a grim picture that went far beyond what anyone at the venue that night could have imagined. Medical reports outlined the full extent of injuries: a comminuted fracture of the maxilla, upper jawbone, requiring surgical plating; bilateral trauma to the mandible, lower jaw, with subluxation; a 3-inch laceration to the upper lip, necessitating 12 stitches; avulsion of 4 incisors and partial fractures of 2 molars, leading to immediate dental extractions; and a grade 3 concussion with post-traumatic amnesia lasting up to 48 hours. The severity of Smith's condition became clear when his brother Andrew provided the first update on his recovery.
Good evening. Stuart "Psycho Stu" is resting since he sustained severe injuries to his head. He's currently conscious and able to talk, but will have difficult recovery ahead. With all the media and social media attention, it's been hard to get back to everyone. Stu appreciates all the love and support. He loves wrestling, his wrestling family, and all his fans and supporters. Wrestling has been a huge part of his life, and he loves to put on performance. He's also just a regular guy with a life and family outside the ring. His wife has currently set up a GoFundMe for those who are wishing to donate.
These injuries, while not fatal, are career-altering for a performer reliant on facial expressions and physicality, with orthopedic specialists estimating 12 months of reconstructive work, including titanium implants and orthognathic surgery, at a projected cost exceeding $150,000 before insurance adjustments. But while Smith fought for his life in the ICU, the public reaction was building to a crescendo that would make this incident a cultural flashpoint. Captured live on Kick and rapidly disseminated via clips on X, YouTube, and TikTok, the 47-second video amassed over 12 million views in the first 48 hours alone. The wrestling community's response was particularly visceral, with many viewing the attack as a fundamental violation of the trust that makes their industry possible. Prominent voices included Filthy Tom Lawler, a former UFC fighter and NJPW star, who posted a video lambasting the post-assault pin attempt on the unconscious Smith as deplorable and calling for the expulsion of involved parties from professional wrestling. The hero of the story, Douglas "Doug" Mullow, the referee who risked his own safety to pull Raja off Smith, became a focal point for the community's anger and pain. But perhaps the most complex and painful aspect of the aftermath was watching Quentin "Rampage" Jackson grapple with what his son had done. Rampage publicly disavowed the attack as bad judgment, revealing in an August 24th X post that he initially believed it was scripted, stemming from what he understood was an earlier altercation where Smith had struck Raja. The full scope of Rampage's internal struggle became clear in a lengthy interview where he tried to explain not just what happened, but why his relationship with his son had become so strained.
I talked to him. I heard his story, and I heard some of the stuff. And then after that, I learned a whole lot of stuff and about it and everything. Roger's wrong. He went against what I told him to do.
The pain in Rampage's voice was evident as he continued to describe how his son's actions had not only hurt Smith, but had dragged the entire Jackson family into a nightmare of death threats and public scrutiny. The interview revealed a father's anguish at watching his child destroy everything he had worked to build.
I'm highly, you guys, I can't even put in words how upset I am with my son. He dishonored my name. I've been in this sport for a long time, and when he did that, they're like, son of MMA, Rampage Jackson goes out. That's my fucking name.
What made the situation even more heartbreaking was Rampage's admission that the assault had fundamentally changed his relationship with his son. The father who had once proudly promoted Raja's fights and streaming career now found himself unable to even speak to him.
Listen, I know he's my fucking son. I'm not cutting him off for forever. I just haven't talked to him.
But this is the worst moment of his life. He needs you now more than ever.
No, listen, I talked to him after the shit happened, and he hid the fact that he did this shit.
The toxic dynamics that had contributed to this tragedy became clearer as analysts examined the relationship between father and son. The streaming culture that had given both Rampage and Raja a platform had also created a space where harmful patterns of behavior were amplified and encouraged.
Now, Rampage is joking. He's clearly trolling.
Yes, but that got into the head of his son.
His son is not trolling. His son is actually upset.
My dad can't never call me a bitch.
Well, now you just involved fucking Rampage himself, because that's his boy.
Yeah, I can handle myself. Yeah,
The public's thirst for accountability grew stronger as the days passed without an arrest. Initial reactions poured in within minutes of the 9:49 p.m. PDT attack, with live-stream chat logs overflowing, with horrified exclamations like, "That's not scripted, call the cops," and "attempted murder on stream." By August 25th morning, the clip had trended globally on X under hashtags like #RajaJacksonAssault and #JusticeForPsychoStew, garnering 1.2 million mentions in 24 hours, with 92% of sentiment classified as negative. The delay in law enforcement action became a source of increasing frustration. Commentary on the situation reflected the growing impatience with the lack of accountability.
No, honestly, I'm not surprised that Raja hasn't been arrested. I feel like the police are doing like a deep investigation, because this is not the first time that something like this has happened in pro wrestling. It's not. It is just a high-profile case, I feel like, because it was live streamed on a different. It went different.
Meanwhile, Smith's recovery became a rallying point for the wrestling community and beyond. The fundraiser, organized by Emily and promoted virally by wrestling peers like Rob Van Dam and indie booker Cody Deaner, exploded in support, surpassing $50,000 within 24 hours, fueled by micro-donations from fans, $520, and high-profile contributions, including $10,000 from YouTuber MrBeast. By September 2nd, it had climbed to $120,000, and as of September 21st, 2025, the total stands at $207,345 from over 8,200 donors. This outpouring of support represented more than just financial aid. It was a community's way of saying that what happened to Smith mattered and that they would not forget. The psychological toll on Smith extended far beyond his physical injuries. Emily elaborated in a joint Facebook Live on September 1st, revealing Stewart's initial days involved round-the-clock monitoring for vertigo and mood swings, common in traumatic brain injury, TBI, cases, with him experiencing flashbacks to the ring that triggered panic attacks. The severity of Smith's trauma was further highlighted when discussing his background.
Former, I think, Marine or something like that, had severe PTSD, started wrestling to find an escape from all the madness and PTSD.
Here's what I would say to Raj.
You're talking about a veteran.
Here, if I was my,
Who's
if
a
this
family.
was my son, I would say this to him.
On September 15th, Smith tearfully admitted to suicidal ideation in the ICU's first night, attributing it to the betrayal by someone I thought was cool, and vowing to advocate for real versus fake boundaries in hybrid events. The industry ramifications were swift and severe. The California State Athletic Commission, CSAC, flagged Jackson's amateur MMA license for review, potentially leading to a suspension, while indie wrestling promotions like KnockX issued a September 20th statement recommitting to enhanced safety protocols for live events. Broader ripples included WWE severing ties with KnockX Pro Wrestling Academy, stripping them of their WWE ID program affiliation, a lucrative partnership that helped develop future talent. As September wore on, the pressure for accountability intensified, with petitions on change.org reaching 15,000, signatures demanding felony charges, and the combat sports community growing increasingly frustrated with the apparent lack of action from law enforcement. The stage was set for what would become one of the most controversial arrests in recent memory. Justice delayed, career destroyed. Nearly a month after the brutal assault that shocked the combat sports world, justice finally began to move, but the wheels of the legal system would prove to be as controversial as the incident itself. The arrest of Raja Jackson on September 18, 2025, marked not the end of this tragic story, but rather the beginning of a new chapter that would expose deep flaws in how the justice system handles high-profile cases involving celebrity families. The arrest of Raja Jackson on September 18, 2025, marked a pivotal escalation in the legal aftermath of the August 24th assault, coming nearly a month after the incident, amid mounting public pressure from viral video footage that amassed millions of views across platforms like X, YouTube, and TikTok. The delay had become a lightning rod for criticism, with many seeing it as emblematic of a two-tiered justice system that treated celebrity offspring differently than ordinary citizens. The morning of the arrest brought a moment of vindication for those who had been demanding accountability, as Doug Malo, the referee who had risked his own safety safety to stop the assault, had predicted.
Raja Jackson has been arrested.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, I've been waiting to say this since August 23rd. He went 3, 2, 1,
straight to jail.
Jackson was taken into custody without incident in the early morning hours at his apartment complex, as captured in overhead body cam and bystander footage. Officers from the Los Angeles Police Department approached calmly, handcuffing him on the outdoor stairs before escorting him to a patrol vehicle. No resistance was reported, and the operation concluded in under 5 minutes. Upon booking at the Los Angeles County Jail around 8:15 a.m. PDT, Jackson was formally charged with felony battery causing serious bodily injury under California Penal Code Section 243D. This charge carries a potential sentence of 2 to 4 years in state prison, with enhancements possible for great bodily injury, adding up to an additional 3 years. The investigation that led to the charges had been thorough, as Doug Mallow explained based on his conversations with detectives.
Basically, the state took it over and their state charges, and what I think they had to look at was Stu's recovery, everything that was involved. The fact that LAPD is pretty lax on charging anybody. You look at that, and then you look at having the state taking it over.
Prosecutors cited the unprovoked nature of the attack, evidenced by the 20-second live stream clip showing Jackson delivering over a dozen unanswered punches to Smith's head while he lay defenseless, as key to the felony designation. But what happened next would reignite the controversy surrounding this case. Bail was set at $50,000 during his initial appearance before a magistrate, a figure decried by victims' advocates as disproportionately low for the severity, especially given Smith's ongoing recovery costs exceeding $200,000 via his GoFundMe. By late afternoon on September 18th, the bond was posted and Jackson was released from custody around 4:30 p.m. PDT, less than 9 hours after his arrest. The swift release drew immediate backlash, with many pointing to the rapid turnaround as evidence of preferential treatment. As one observer noted about the bail amount and quick release.
So he had a $50,000 bail, so don't be surprised if he's out in the morning or if he's already out and we just haven't heard about it yet. That's usually how these things go. The process is the punishment. His process is just starting, and it's going to be a very, very long process.
Quentin Rampage Jackson addressed the release in a series of posts and a brief Instagram live on September 19th, confirming Raja is home safe now and doing okay. The bond was paid and he's learned his lesson, but he needs real help, jail time a bit, therapy, anger management. His measured response reflected a father trying to balance accountability with protection of his son. The case had exposed deeper issues about how streaming culture and toxic masculinity had contributed to this tragedy. Commentary on the toxic environment that had shaped Raja's worldview revealed troubling patterns.
People were able to goad this guy into having the most extreme reaction, all because he was being diplomatic. That he accepted the other person's apology and moved on. Now, nigga, you gotta get your respect. And people actually think.
As of September 21st, 2025, no arraignment hearing has been scheduled, though insiders speculate a preliminary hearing could occur within 10-15 days if prosecutors push for a fast track given the video evidence. Raja himself has remained silent publicly, with his Kick streaming account going dark since the incident. Associates report he's under a self-imposed media blackout at the family's Los Angeles home. The long-term implications for Raja's career are devastating. Industry experts are unanimous in their assessment that his fighting career is effectively over.
Do you think your son will continue to do stuff in the public eye? Like, what do you think becomes of him now?
I don't fucking know. I don't see how he can get a contract.
The California State Athletic Commission has flagged Jackson's amateur MMA license for review, potentially leading to a suspension, while streaming platforms like Kick have banned him from their service. His father's assessment of his streaming future was equally bleak.
Yeah, Kick don't want shit to do with him.
He's off.
He's done. Like Roger has showed that he's one of the people that shouldn't be streaming. Like, you can't blame what Roger did on Kick. You can't blame it on his chat.
The broader impact on the industry has been significant. KnockX suspended live streams indefinitely and mandated safe word protocols, vowing enhanced vetting for guests amid boycotts and safety audits. The incident spotlighted blurred work versus shoot lines, prompting calls from pros like JBL for zero tolerance policies. For Stuart "Psycho Stu" Smith, the journey to to recovery continues. Neurologists project 3-6 months before clearance for contact sports, with 40% risk of post-concussive syndrome per VA TBI stats. Financially stabilized but wrestling hiatus indefinite, Smith has teased a memoir, From Script to Slam, Surviving the Shoot, and coaching gigs to stay connected. The psychological toll remains severe, with Smith's condition highlighting the lasting impact on veterans.
Stu appreciates all the love and support. He loves wrestling, his wrestling family, and all his fans and supporters. Wrestling has been a huge part of his life, and he loves to put on performance. He's also just a regular guy with a life and family outside the ring. His wife has currently set up a GoFundMe for those who are wishing to donate.
The path forward for Raja Jackson appears bleak. Legal experts suggest that while a plea deal is possible, the public nature of the assault and the victim's status as a military veteran make it unlikely he'll escape significant consequences. If a plea is negotiated, common in 90% of LA felonies, expect community service and probation as baselines, though public pressure may harden prosecutors. The hope expressed by some, including Doug Malo, is that this tragedy might ultimately serve a greater purpose.
He could actually come out and help other people not do what he did, and he could be, a force for good at that point. So, that's my hope, is the best possible outcome is that, That's what I'm looking at least. That's my perspective.
But the reality remains stark. In 47 seconds of uncontrolled rage, Raja Jackson destroyed not only Stuart Smith's health and career, but his own future as well. The name that was once associated with promise and potential is now forever linked to one of the most shocking assaults in combat sports history. The son of a legend has become a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked anger, toxic masculinity, and the pressure to live up to an impossible legacy. As this saga continues to unfold in the courts, one thing is certain: the repercussions of that August night will be felt for years to come, serving as a permanent reminder that in the world of combat, sports, respect, discipline, and control matter more than any name, any legacy, or any desperate desire to prove oneself through violence. Thanks for watching. If you had a good time, keep the adventure alive by clicking on one of the suggested videos on your screen right now for more amazing content.